Hi, and welcome to the Quantum Creativity Show. I'm your host, Santari Green, broadcasting to you from Burgess Hill in the UK, with my co-host, Cezarina Trone, broadcasting from Cincinnati, Ohio. So, welcome back to another edition of Quantum Creativity, Cezarina.
Thank you, Santari. This is exciting to be interviewed by you today. Usually we have a guest or I interview you, or yeah, so I'm a little bit excited and nervous at the same time.
Well, we're going to talk about a project of yours, which I guess is more than a project. It's something which is very dear to you, I know, and I've heard you talk about it on a few other occasions. But this time you seem to have formalized it into something that is quite amazing and majestic in itself. So it's called the Mirador Yoga and Creativity School. So it's quite a bit of a mouthful. And you tell me it's for children and for adults.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's right. I'm really, really excited that 2015 is bringing me to the moment of birthing this work. I did not know if you had asked me a year ago, oh, what are you going to do in 2015? I would have said, I'm not sure yet. I'm in the mystery of it. I'm enjoying every moment. And because I did that, here I am with this new creation now, to fully allow it to seep through my cells and then offer it to the world and be that creative force that I've learned to be on this show, in my life, and everything that I do.
Well, let's go back to the origins then. If we use the word Mirador, what does Mirador stand for you?
Yes. Well, it goes back to about, goodness, I think it's been almost 8 years ago, 7.5 years ago. I was going through a difficult time in my life and a big transition, and I had asked the universe for a miracle. I asked for a sign that I'm supposed to do something new with education, and I really specifically said, I really want to be a vessel for this new paradigm. I don't know how it looks like, I don't know, but I want to be part of it. And the moment I said that, the phone rang. And I was with children. It was summertime. I remember it was right before my birthday in 2007. So I was with children out in a field trip, and the phone rang next to my body, and I almost got startled because I had just internally asked that question. I was really looking for a different kind of answer, not for the phone to ring. And
Hello, this is the universe calling.
and the phone, I picked up the phone, and the voice on the phone said, completed give me the answer exactly like I asked it. I would like you to come to West Africa and teach in our international school. And I just about, all I can tell you, I had a very physical reaction. My body felt like it was this fire energy that went from my feet through my spine up my head, and I was plugged into some electrical and I, of course, I paid attention to that because I've never had that physical sensation ever, and I knew it was very much connected to what I just asked, and it was a yes. And of course, I said, well, you just answered my question. That's all I said. And of course, the director of the school did not have no idea what I'm talking about. And so I said, send me the information. It sounded like he had looked for me for a while, and that was his last attempt to like reach me. And so I said, send me the email this evening. He said, I have to know within 2 hours, otherwise I will have to make other phone calls. And so I went home, and I looked at this email, and I looked at the place they were talking about. I've never heard of Niger. I've heard of Nigeria before, but I've never heard of West Africa, Niger. And it looked a little bit surreal to me. There are dunes, and there's sand, and there are people carrying pots on their heads, and it looked like I was going back in time in a different era, and yet I felt my heart. Again, it was a heart-led experience. I felt my heart pulsating with this power, and I said yes, and I said yes to signing a contract for 2 years to teach in Africa. So that's how it all started. And of course, it was the first time in my life then that I was learning to trust really a deeper part of me and not go with my rational brain any longer. It was really a big stretch because everyone around me had, had conversation and said, "Are you crazy? Where are you going? You don't know where you're going. How come you're responding to something out of the blue?" But what they didn't know is that I was ready and I had asked. So I was obviously being given what I had asked for.
So what does the word Mirador actually mean itself, though?
The Mirador was something I had, it was part of my journey in Africa. I stumbled about a year or so after I lived there and realized how powerful the desert, the wilderness was for me to embrace my wild side. I went into this trip. I can't call it safari because there's not such a thing as safari in West Africa where I lived. It's a bit different than people, mention when they go to Kenya, for example. But we went into this rugged terrain 3 hours away from where I lived with friends, and it was very hot. It was 110, 120 degrees, and I remember we're exhausted physically, and we went to this park supposedly to see elephants and a couple of other things, and it was really, really a challenging physical experience. And for hours we would find a place and be in this kind of a shelter, from the heat, and lay there and wait with the binoculars. And we waited, and at some point I decided to go and walk around through this high grass. It was all dry grass. It was very wild nature. And as I went through, my heart just stopped. I found this rock, and it was huge. It was almost, from the bottom, from the earth up to my chest. And it painted green, and the name Mirador was big, and it was literally scratched into the rock. It wasn't painted. It was kind of scratched into the rock by hand, and it had an arrow pointing in a direction. So I stood there, and I didn't know what to do because I've never had an experience where I'm looking at a rock and I can't move forward. I'm literally stuck. And, so I looked at this rock, and I instantly knew that that was my name. That was a name that was given to me. I didn't understand why. I only knew that as I love writing poetry, and I love writing mystical poetry, I knew the M-I-R-A, the Mira name, had been very dear to me in the past. She had been a poet in India long ago, a mystical poet who was fully realized, who knew who she was. She was so blissed in all her existence that people, didn't think she was real. So I had read some of her poetry. So I connected with that first part of the word, and then dor, D-O-R, in my own language in Romania means longing. So without trying to understand the word came alive and went into my being. And I became the longing of that poet. I became the longing of that mystical path. I was that. I didn't have to know anymore. And later, as I walked around, I realized that in French, someone had told me the word Mirador means, Le Mirador is the high place, like a high hill or a high place where you go to and you look and see everything. You see the bigger picture of everything. And I would get dreams about being in a high place every so often and looking and seeing everything and being that higher power that we're all seeking to embody in these physical forms here. So that was as simply as that. That was a very beautiful encounter that it's sort of hard to put into words, but it was really mystical and really special to me, surreal, in the midst of the wilderness, African wilderness.
So there's what's developed apparently since then is there's working with children. You have a desire for, I guess we call it education, how to educate children in a very special and unique way, which really focuses on them, and also marrying that with the mystical, I guess. So there's something special, I would say, that we have yet to touch upon in this conversation about what is the vision, what is the intention, what is the driving force and inspiration behind all this, which seems to have a guiding focus for you, as if it is this sign which points this way forward and says Mirador this way.
This way.
and you become Mirador, and you take on another uniqueness of yourself, another role. What would you say it is if you could put into a few sentences? All of it.
Well, it's truly living this precious gift of life from its purest, joyful expression. For me, purest, joyful, and playful expression. And we have come here to do this, but we've forgotten. All of us, we have come here to do this and have that taste. Children still have it, especially the young ones, still have that purest joy, beingness, that it's untainted by anything else. It's untainted by a school system or education paradigm, or their raw power of creativity. And they land with me in a circle. They land in the moment with me, and I'm transported. We go to the deepest parts of ourselves, and then when we bring an anchor here, it's very special. And that's what I like to do with this training or this program, is share a little bit more of what happens and how others could do it. Because I realized, since I lived in Africa and worked there in the classroom and tried all these different experiments and brought in it, the yoga movements and the stories and the dance, and tried it all since 2000, beginning of 2008 and at the end of 2007. Since then, and mostly these past 4 years living in Cincinnati, it has taught me that there's so many layers to what we do with education, and depending on what we focus on, we could really activate this power, and we could bring forth a little faster the changes. And I'm doing it from my own playing my own role. I'm bringing it from my own angle. So my angle was, I'm not going to choose to be in the classroom, although I could. I still have my degree and my license, but I'm going afterwards, after they're done with all of that, and bringing in the circle of creativity and fun and yoga and whatever else is needed for these children to be able to nurture and continue to nurture their power, know that they're very special and very magnificent and very amazing, not just to me, but to everyone around them. So
I see that you've got yourself accredited internationally with Yoga Alliance. Can you say why that was important for the sport of fun?
Yeah. I did not know that I would do that. It wasn't a plan, but the beauty of it was I had taught I was able to log in all these hours. I have taught with adults and also with kids, and mostly with children. And you had to have about 2,000 or more of those hours to log in online. And once you did that, you would qualify to become a trainer with Yoga Alliance, which was really exciting and was a little scary, actually. And when I found this out, it was just after I was back from Tuscany, I found this out, and I really was. I had to sit with it for a little while. I couldn't talk about it. I got an email. And I sat with it, and I thought, what now? What now? What does this mean? Because as you know, I don't like to define. I don't like to have all these definitions, but I know sometimes they are useful and helpful to the people around you because they want to know what you're going to do. Well, you're a teacher, so you're going to teach this. You're a trainer, you're going to train. And yet we are much more than the roles we play, and we know that. So I like mixing. I sometimes feel like I'm a jack of all trades. I can, do the art part and the yoga part and the teaching part and the dance part and the music part. And I feel like, oh, I could do it all. But then it's not about, like you said, there is a focus that comes with this whole role of training. And that was a little scary for me because I'm very playful. I don't want to put things into a structure. So it was a challenge to have to, okay, how do you define, how do you take these, higher layers of, or deeper and layers of working with the children and put them into a curriculum now. Give them a form. How do you do that? So that people can understand the work a little more and get excited and actually get in and let the magic rub on them. So that was my challenge this past from summer to almost late fall of 2014. And like everything else, once you understand what you're doing and you believe in the magic that you have created, there's no stopping to go forward. So.
So in the curriculum itself, can you just take me through it? What exactly
Yes.
would a group of children or adults actually get, receive from
So,
you?
yeah, for this, adults who could be teachers in the classroom, adults who could be yoga teachers but never worked with children and they're interested to, parents, it could be absolutely grandparents, it could be absolutely anyone who has a passion to work with the children and support them in some way. They could take the training, and it's a certification. If they like to add it to their belt of different things they do, that's fine. They don't have to take it as a certification. They could take it just for fun. I want them to have whatever choice they want to pick. And then the modules, there are just 7 modules, and they're going. The excitement part is that they're going to come in and we're going to go through different experiences. First, the experience might be that we pretend to be the group of children and work from that place. Another experience would be that I would bring children in, and then I watch and observe how they interact with the children and give them feedback, and they write about their experience, and they create all these other experiences for themselves and then share with us. I will be sending them out into schools or places where children are, and to observe.
That sounds a bit scary.
To observe how the different ages, come together, and how it is all laid before them, and then observe, and then from that observation use it as a foundation for creating an experience with them, with dance and sound and movement and energy and all that, because it has to be catered to the needs of the child. And if they're working with special children who might be autistic, who don't like to talk a lot, but they want to feel the energy, to move, to dance, they feel exhilarated, then they know how to put that experience together. If they work with a mix of children, then they have to figure out how to give everyone attention and how to be present and not. We have a tendency when we are trained as regular school teachers, you have to take charge. They teach you, you have to be in control. It goes against what some of the children need in that moment, because they have all different needs. So a child might start crying, and I have this a lot in my groups. A child might start crying because there's an emotional thing that happens because they felt all this amazing energy and they don't know why. What do? Do you just pretend that it's not happening and keep going? Or do you stop? And take care of it. There's so many tricky situations, but it's so much fun to be able to learn how to take care of all of it.
So really it is, if you're an adult, it's going to be enabling you to see the multifaceted nature of how to be with yourself, let alone with children, because that's what they're going to be opened up to.
Exactly. They're going to be your mirrors, exactly.
Oh, back to Mirador. Oh, okay. So how long would that program be if you just take a normal program for an adult? How many hours?
Yes, the whole training is 95 hours to get their certification. They will only need about 37 hours face-to-face with me, and the rest of them will be done online. So through teleclasses, through assignments, they have to watch the things they have to put together and turn them in. So what's beautiful about this, if they do this training locally here in Cincinnati, they could come and every Sunday, or whenever we set the Sundays up, for 7 Sundays, 5 hours or 6 hours a Sunday, and we will have those 7 Sundays. Again, everything goes into number 7s. I don't know, it's the magical number 7. The Mirador has 7 principles. Each letter stands for a principle. There are 7 guided principles for the training. There's 7 weekends. There's 7 modules. I love this, how 7 shows up. So they could do it that way, and they take their time, and they have time in between every week to go and do their project or go and do their assignment and go and create something beautiful with the children and do it with the group. And what's beautiful about this, they don't have to do it locally. They could actually do it in Tuscany as well. so, so, so I'm making a way for them to have some of these experiences this summer in Tuscany, a few hours each day. If they want to have fun in the group and play and be the magical child, they could use those hours towards their training later and turn them in. So why not?
Well, I also understand that somehow I'm going to be involved with this.
Yes.
Through my book.
Yes.
Would you like to say something about that?
Yes. I just absolutely could not have not added your Imagica book, which is right here, to the as a mandatory reading for everyone participating in the Mirador training. And if you ask me why, well, they will find out why as they read the book, and they will unveil the power of it. But for now, just to give them a little curiosity piece, how to live in harmony with your magical child and your magical self is a work of art, and it doesn't happen overnight, and it doesn't happen in 7 weekends by taking this training. It happens as you practice, in every breath and everything you do, everything becomes extraordinary. And as you understand the magnificence that you are as an adult, then you'll get ready to work with these children, because the children are highly advanced already. So the children are already living this book. So they don't need the book, but the adults are going to need to the update, the step up, to get there, so they can really be supportive of what the children are bringing in. They're bringing in amazing things, and my role is to make sure they get what they need. So I'm only one of me, and I realized recently that I can go to however many schools a day. There's not going to be enough of me and enough of my time to do it anymore. The need is the need is here for more adults to step up and play that role.
You mean there's only one Cezarina?
Well, I meant there's so many people that could have this passion, and they didn't know they want to live it. So I will be there to support them through that journey, make sure they get what they need. It makes me happy to share that. So why not? The need is going to intensify for the children to have more adults who are really, really in tune with the higher energies and the higher vision, not just in education, but in life itself. We are practicing that in Tuscany. It's all a celebration. The children know that. Every time I'm around them, I celebrate. Every time I'm around them, it's extraordinary. And I no longer have a dull moment in my life because I'm doing what I'm doing. And I thought years ago, oh, it's just because I'm with them and then I go back to my life. No, there's no more go back to here and here. It's all morphed into one experience of sheer joy. And I can't go to being too serious. I can't go to being too stressed out. I can't go to being, even when I'm running around trying to do these classes, I'm thrilled and exhilarated, and I'm alive. So.
So let's just have a look at your website then.
Okay.
If we can. So what is the name of it?
Mirador Yoga Creativity School.weebly.com. But if that's too hard to remember because it's a long, long name right now, we could go to CezarinaTrone.com and just push the button on there to the Mirador School. So you could do it that way.
Okay, I'll just see if I can find it. I'll find the website.
And while you're there, I have my there you go.
There we go. So the Mirador Yoga and Creativity School .weebly.com. We take playfulness seriously.
We do. I do.
So there we are. We have 7 modules, yes, which relate to your 7 principles, and it's a 95-hour yoga teacher training and creativity coaching program, and internationally accredited.
Yes, and that's a really nice part of the beauty of this is that anyone in the world I would love to encourage people in Europe to come to Tuscany, for example, because they could start the training and actually start doing this work in Europe. After we, the only part they'll have to work on will be the online section, and that can be done at their own convenience from their own homes. So if they take those face-to-face hours, then they can actually start the work with the children in these magical ways and learn how to go out, and I'll teach them exactly what I'm doing. So go out and do what I'm doing and make a difference.
So this could be for people really in any country.
In any
country. Not just
yes.
The US.
Yes, that's the exciting part.
So how does So I just wanted to know, how would it work then for them to get into situations in their own countries where they're having to be in contact with children and perhaps lead groups themselves? Would they have to take the lead in that? Would it be part of the accreditation that they have to set it up for themselves?
They would go and approach a school or a group of, it could be anywhere, community center, any place that works with children, and they would explain, as part of my training, I need to volunteer or observe, how can you help me to be around children so I can take notes, observe them, and then create an activity, and I would like to be able to teach it and have that experience. And then they will find a willing, I'm sure teachers or people in charge will be more than happy. Here, they're so more than happy to have volunteers or people who have come in and help with children. They always get excited because they always need extra help. So they will go and approach them and say, as part of my training, I have this assignment, so can you help me? And then it's as easy as that, and then they will get in to experience it and actually teach it, and then they will witness themselves in that setting and see how that feels, if they really can play that role. They could tell once they're doing it. So, but they need to have the experience first, and it doesn't matter the age. They could try the different ages. I actually will recommend that they would go with young kids and then middle school and then higher level, so they'll have all three, the tiniest age to the old, so they have the three different brackets of ages to experience with, to see the difference, to see how everyone relates differently at that age, and how they they connect with them as a teacher. So.
Well, you obviously got to have a passion for it, because if you didn't, then it would seem scary stuff.
Well, it is. You have to have a passion of being around children. You can't do this unless you really want to invest your time and your kindness and your love for the next generation, and really care of what's going to happen to our world, because they're bringing in the new visions of the new earth, and we're a part of it already because they're supporting them. So why not support them all the way? So.
Yes, because I see that to be able to do this successfully, you've got to forget all these things that you've heard from the past of how to teach children. You've got to almost like immerse yourself in the space of creativity and let yourself unfold and be part of the unfoldment of life.
Yes.
So when would your program start? Do you have a start date?
I am thinking of possibly beginning of March, sometime this spring. I'm working on, I haven't advertised it a lot, that we'll probably share with some of the yoga schools and some of the people in town. And I was thinking to really start with a small group, because I wanted to have that intimacy relating aspect of it, and make sure everyone is on, is really getting the vibe of this. So I wanted to have that experience first. So I will probably take first come, first serve. Whoever, I will pay attention to who is really drawn to it magnetically, and then go from there. And also I will let people know that if they don't live in this area and they're really interested, Tuscany would be great. They could come and get their contact hours this summer. I'm making that possible. We didn't have that available last summer, and it's just very exciting to me to add that into the retreat list of experiences. So.
Okay. And what about the cost? How much for the program?
Yes, the program itself, I have it right here. The program itself, again, it has 7s in it. They could go and pay per module, $125 a weekend, or pay in full, which is a little less. That would go down to $110 per weekend, and that would be 770, $770 for the whole training. So I love the 7s, don't I? So yes. That is a great price for the training. I had priced this type of training somewhere else in the bigger cities, not in Cincinnati, and I just about was shocked and fell out of my chair. So I think I'm I'm really giving everyone a very affordable rate for actually certifying to do this and having this experience.
Well, I guess we're going to contact you later in the year, find out how it's going, get an update from you, and looking forward to seeing more Cezarinas.
Yes. They're not really going to be more Cezarinas, but as you know, it's all about stepping into your own magic. If you discover your own magic, you'll be your own magical self, whatever you are.
I think it's just fun to have more Cezarinas about. with the bubbliness and the playfulness. But anyway, I wish you all the very best, and we look forward to finding out later in the year how it's going. And that's it from us for now, for this week.
Well, thank you. Yes, very, very happy to be sharing this with you, Santari. Thank you.
I'm very happy to be part of your program.
Yes, me too.
So that's it from us from the Quantum Creativity for this week. Join us on another occasion. We'll see where the next conversation takes us. But from us, goodbye for now.
Bye.